Alright guys, it's 2 days later, not tomorrow, and one of the things that I said I was going to do was rotate the engine over and start taking out the crank and the pistons and the camshaft. Well, I ran into a little bit of a problem. I tried rotating this, and you see these bolts here? They hold the mounting points for the engine to this plate. Well, they're interfering with this little support piece here, and I can't actually rotate it all the way around. So I have a couple of things that I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to try is flipping these bolts around so that the nut is in by the engine and the actual head of the bolt is out here. And if that doesn't work, what I'm going to do is take an angle grinder, and I'm just going to take some of this material out here so that I can actually rotate the engine. So we're going to get going on that, and then we'll move on to actually doing the engine work. Alright, let's go. So I fixed the issues I had with my engine stand. What I did was I just took the bolts holding this little connecting piece of metal here, and I flipped them around so that the head end of the bolt was facing towards the stand and the stud end was facing towards the engine. I did find out that I didn't really have to do that because the whole rotating assembly on this thing has like a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch of slop in it, so I could have just pulled this forward and rotated it. Maybe. I think it probably would have cleared that little piece of metal there. But in any case, the way I've got it now is easier, so cool beans. You also got to see me take the engine off of the stand, put it back on, so, you know, I didn't show you guys that before, so that's something cool. So what we're actually going to do now is we're going to remove the oil pickup and the oil pump. This will be really easy, I think, to remove in one piece. 2 bolts it looks like, and this will just come right off. And then we're going to take out the pistons. What you got to do is you got to take off the connecting rod cap. If you don't know what a connecting rod is, it's what holds your piston to your crankshaft. So you got to take the cap off, and you push the piston out of the cylinder. When you push the piston out of the cylinder, you want to use something relatively soft like a plastic rod or a piece of wood, brass even. But don't use something steel, because if you ding stuff up in here, you're not really going to be able to fix it too easy. Once we get the pistons out, we're going to move on to the crankshaft. To take the crankshaft out, you got to take the main caps off, and then you lift the crankshaft out. It's a lot easier than a lot of things. It's the hardest thing to put in, but it's one of the easiest to take out. After we get that out, we're going to move on to the camshaft. Now, I have done a camshaft before like this, because I've only done one engine where the camshaft was in the block. Everything else I've worked on was overhead cam. It was a 3406B Caterpillar, and what we did was we took the block and we set it up vertically so that we could take the cam and just pull it straight up and out. We didn't have gravity, you know, when we got the cam out of its journal, pulling the cam down so that we got hung up on stuff. So this is going to be a little bit different. Because it's horizontal, I'm going to have gravity kind of working against me while I do this. And another thing is I don't know how this is held in here. It could just be sitting in there, because there's a gear on the front here that's held in there with a bolt. So it could just be sitting in there, or it could have some bolts or something, and I don't know. So I'll probably have to look in the manual for that. But either way, after that, after we get the cam out, it'll just be kind of cleaning. We're going to get all this gasket material off. We're going to get all the oil off. It's going to take a butt ton of brake clean, because brake clean is the best thing in the world when it comes to doing this stuff. It's the fastest. You just take it off. While I was at the diesel shop, we actually used a pressure washer, but that kind of sucked, because immediately after you were done pressure washing all the oil off, you got a thin layer of surface rust, which wouldn't have done anything. It was just ugly. So we had to go in with some oil rags and oil everything up just to keep that from happening after we clean them off. So this time I'm just going to try to use some brake clean, keep water out of it. And then after that, it's just going to be waiting on parts and then slapping it all back together. So, all right, let's get going on it. Okay, so everything's out. Camshaft's out, pistons are out, main caps are off. Last thing I gotta do is take the crank out. So here we go. Oop, it's stuck, and it's heavy. There we go. I'm gonna go set this down on some wood. I don't want it touching concrete. Alright, so you guys may say I'm a little bit anal about it, but I don't like putting stuff like that down on hard surfaces. I want it on wood or you know, a towel or something, just in case one of the machine surfaces touches something, you know. I'd rather have the machine surface break whatever it's sitting on rather than whatever it's sitting on break the machine surface. So, yeah, that's it. The camshaft was a lot easier to take out than I thought it would be. I just had to take this extension here, kind of get it on a lobe and pop it out a little bit, and once I had something to grab onto, it came out real easy. There's only 1, 2, 4 bearings for that camshaft, so, and they're real big, so it was actually real easy to get that thing out of there. Now, the cylinder walls actually look pretty friggin' fantastic, if you ask me. There's a small ridge up at the top where the rings stop, but other than that, these things are pretty damn good. Now, remember, if you watched my video titled "Meet My CJ7" or "Meet My Jeep," whatever the heck I called it, you'll remember that I said that I had a lot of blow-by. Blow-by is when compression is getting past the rings and into your block, and it raises the pressure inside of your engine. And every single cylinder, you see that? Every single piston has broken rings. It's almost always this top one here, but yeah, that's busted into quite a few chunks. See, it's all falling all over the place. Let's check this one out. Yeah, see, that one's broken. Let's go on to another one. Yeah, that one just fell right out. They all seem to be, no, yeah, shattered there. I forget which one of these it was, but there was one that had a ring that was just like disintegrated. Yeah, see? Broken in half. So, this might be the one. No, that one is, oh no, it blew up right here. So the end of it's blown up. It didn't split in half like the other ones did. And this one here in the middle, it's kind of jammed in there. It feels like it's all squished in. Even the oil ring is kind of squished in there, really. Maybe it's this one. Yep, that one's pretty busted too. Yeah, that one's split in half. So, yeah, every single piston had broken oil rings on it. That first one. Or, are they oil rings or compression rings? Probably compression rings. One or the other. They're all broken, so it was a good thing this came apart. That, on top of the fact that one of the valves in here, I'm not going to roll it over, I don't want to mess stuff up. I'll show you later when I take it to a machine shop. But one of the exhaust valves is leaking on that, so there was oil getting in through there. It was that number 5 cylinder. And that exhaust valve was leaking real bad, and so there was a lot of oil in there. And the intake valve on cylinder 1 was also, it was white, which apparently means that it was getting really hot in there. So maybe there was some fuel burning up through the valve before it closed or something. I don't know how that works, but it was white. So yeah, it was getting hot in there. But yeah, see, that's it. The engine is apart. Now what I've got to do is, like I said, clean it and wait for my parts. I'm going to take the head and the crankshaft into a machine shop. The crankshaft I'm just going to have polished, which is basically them taking out any dings that I put into it. And the head, I'm going to have them look at the valves and see if those need to be replaced or if I can salvage them or what's going on with that. So that's what's happening with those two deals. After I clean it all, I guess I'll measure everything, which is very important because the kit that I'm trying to buy, they want measurements for your camshaft journals, for your crankshaft journals, for your cylinder bores, and they want these measurements just in case that block was modified in any way. So you can bore out cylinders, and so that would make the cylinder wider, and the parts you need to get need to be bigger for that. Same goes for your crankshaft journals and for your camshaft journals. They can be made to be bigger if something happens and they get dinged up and you need to bore them out, and then they're bigger, so you need thicker bearings to fill the void. So yeah, I'm going to have that stuff done. Everything's going to get clean. That stuff's going to go to the machine shop. It's going to come back, and then we're going to start measuring everything. This will be the last video until all that happens, so it'll probably be two weeks before I get back into this. I'm not going to show you me cleaning all this stuff. That would be boring beyond belief. But I will show me measuring everything. I'll show, when I go to do it, I'll show how I'm going to measure whatever it is, and then I'll time-lapse me going through measuring everything. And I'll do that for each thing that I measure. So that'll be the next video. This is going to be a measuring deal. But like I said, it's going to be two and a half weeks away from now. So that's all I got for you guys right now. So alrighty, see you next time.